Welcome to another episode of Ask the Pros Business. On this episode, I've got Dave here. Dave is a photographer. He's been doing this for years, guys, and he's good at his job. He's the best, I can tell you, in Chester. So Dave, on Ask the Pros, we speak to professionals like you, and you tend to tell your story, share your journey, how you started, in a way trying to motivate other guys trying to go into photography, or trying to give them, good business ideas, strategies as well, things that have worked for you, success stories, and the difficulties as well, and how you've managed to come out of those difficulties. And on this show, Dave, we always start from the beginning. Start from the beginning means, telling your story, how Dave started. So Dave, how did this all start for you as a photographer?
Quite by accident, to be fair. It's not what I intended to do, photography. I wanted to be a football commentator. That's what I kind of did when I left school for a little bit, but from there, I ended up working in an estate agent, and for a year or so, that's what I wanted to do too. Then one day I thought maybe a change of what I wanted to do. I went into a job centre in Ellesmere Port. This would be 1990, somewhere like that, and I saw an advert for an in-store photographer. I always fancied myself as a photographer. Had a camera for my 10th birthday. I take pictures. I'm the best in our family at taking pictures. I don't get my thumb over the film and everything. And so I went for the job, and I got it. It was great. You didn't need any qualifications to do it. You just needed some kind of experience working with kids again, which I didn't have. But I've always been pretty good with kids, and managed to convince them that I would be good with babies and children, and so they thought, let's give this guy a go. And then within a year or so, I was running the studio where I was based, which was in TJ Hughes in Ellesmere Port, back in the old Port arcades. Then got transferred over to Debenhams and worked there for 10 years on and off. Did some training for them in that time as well, around the area, going from Dudley all the way through to Blackburn, lots of different places there. And then and that's how I started in photography. So I guess you think the first 10 years is kind of starting for me. And then 20 years ago, Suzanne, who's my business partner here at Dave Williams Photography, she'd already set up a studio in Wrexham called Bubbles Photography, and she approached me and she was like, fancy opening one in Chester? I'd got to the stage then after 10 years, I thought, it'd be nice to have my own place. Be in charge. There's certain ways that I perhaps wouldn't have done things that they were doing things. I wasn't quite happy with the way that the customer service was going, and we were rushing things. And so I thought, that's perfect. And so long story short, we opened this place 2000, and that's how we started.
Cool, Dave, man. What a remarkable story. But let's roll it back a bit. As a kid, Dave, as a child, what were your interests? Right. Kids, you want, like, what were the things you were excited about?
Reptiles and football. Yeah, reptiles and football. So I guess, my parents were absolutely convinced I was going to be a zookeeper or some kind of person involved with keeping reptiles or looking after reptiles, which I still do quite a bit in my spare time, but not as my paid job. And then, like I say, football. I used to kick a football around the back garden, and I'd be doing the John Motson commentary on it, and he was my hero. Or Clive Tilsley on Radio City. These guys were my heroes. So I guess football commentating after the animals and the reptiles, but photography wasn't really there. I always enjoyed it, but it was never really there. It was strange, really, but
yeah, nice one, Dave. Let's go back to the story of Suzanne. How Suzanne came into the picture. So then it was Bubbles photography, right?
Yeah.
So what not transition to Dave photography, because Bubbles is here, Dave is here. What not happened?
Well, Bubbles is a very well-known name, probably to this day, in Wrexham. But over here in Chester, we when we opened as Bubbles Photography, as we did in Chester, we were like, we're going to concentrate on doing baby photography. That was what we thought. The studio, we thought we'll just continue what we were best at Debenhams, which was baby photography. But we quickly learned that we were going to be asked to do all sorts of kind of photography, family pictures, and then one of the big parts of what we got asked to do a lot of was weddings. And that's something that I said I'd never ever touch. No, I'm not going to be responsible for somebody's wedding pictures. That's too much stress. That's too much responsibility. But no, you get that thing. Oh, maybe I'd be all right at that. So the first thing we had to think about really was, is somebody going to come and book Bubbles Photography for your wedding? It didn't quite sound like a professional name really for wedding photography. So we just thought, it wasn't my idea actually. I think it was Suzanne's idea to change the name to Dave Williams Photography rather than mine. I don't think I'd have ever suggested putting it in my name, but she did, and I was like, my name above a shopping chest? Oh, go on then. You know? bit of the vanity coming out in that.
So you guys, you didn't play with more names, had other options and other ideas to just choose a name.
Suzanne, fair play to her, she works so hard, tirelessly, and Dave gets the credit for it. It's good, but at that stage she was concentrating an awful lot on what was going on in Wrexham anyway, and she's happy for everybody who sort of went to Bubbles Photography in Wrexham just to see her as one of the employees. I think one of the things that she used to say a lot was, my boss, I don't know whether, I can't do that. My boss wouldn't let me do that. And I think she was happy to be, sort of play it low key. But yeah, don't get me wrong, she's like part of the big heartbeat behind the operation. And yeah, you don't see that much of her, but she's there 100%.
Yeah, nice one, Dave. I see that you guys got like a good partnership going on. But when it comes to business, a lot of people tend to have this misconception or ideas that having a partner is not good. Some will tell you it's better to do the business yourself instead of having a partner. Now, comes to partnership in business, you have one already, and you're working with one already, and it's been great. What would be your take on this for people that have that sort of like doubt, having a partnership in business? They look at it like, no, I don't want to have a partner. It won't be good for business. But for you, you've reaped the fruits, of having a good partner in your business. But what would you say to those people that are having doubts around partnership in business?
Yeah, honesty is a big part of it. You have to be very honest and brutally honest at times with each other. You've got to have total respect for the person that you're working with. You might not, who you're in partnership with, you might not agree with their every decision. But if you haven't got that respect, and you've both got to work so hard together on that, and you've got to trust each other's ideas. If you can't trust each other's ideas, then find out very quickly who's most passionate about a particular idea. I think that's what we do a lot. I'll go to Suzanne with an idea that I'm passionate about, and I know 99 times out of 100 she'll go with that idea. But if it works both ways. If she's particularly passionate about an idea, and I'm like, we'll definitely go with her idea, even if my idea is different to that. We have a sense for when it matters, for whose idea we should go with, and if we're not, we find a way. We find a way, and I think what we do bring is we're two completely different kinds of people. I think Suzanne is so she doesn't stop. She's perpetual motion. That's the only way I can describe her. I don't think that girl even sleeps. I don't, honestly. She's perpetual motion. But I need somebody like that because I'm much more chilled out, and I think I need that kick. If that's probably the best way of saying it. To get up and make the business work. Some of the times, I can come into the work in the morning and I'll be highly motivated and I'll have loads of energy to burn. But she makes sure that energy is being burnt in the right places. She just does not give up. She is, like I say, she's the heartbeat behind it. And maybe I'm happier being the sort of the face behind it, And yeah, we work well. We work well like that. Yeah,
great, Dave. Great. From what you're saying right now, I can pick one word from what you're saying, which is relationship. In business, whatever you do, I think having a genuine, relationship towards what you do also helps as well. Doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, we, I mean, we. Having said that, we obviously I know a lot about Suzanne's family, and but having said that, we just don't get time outside of work with kids now. We don't have time to socialize and do that. So we see each other 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day sometimes. You know, I know all about her kids. I could tell you everything about her kids. She could tell you the same about mine. We know each other's lives very, very much so. But I guess outside we don't have that much time to socialize, because it's. I suppose, having said that, we probably talk most nights for 20 minutes, half an hour on text. You know, we've got this query. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? So it never lets up. It never lets up.
Cool, Dave. Now let's go to the first time. Yeah, you picked up the camera. You know, picking up the camera and looking at it, and you know what was going through your head then?
Well, I guess that's two different times. But the first time I did a photo shoot in when I was training. When I was doing in-store photography.
Okay.
I remember it well. I did my training in London Road in TJ Hughes in Liverpool, and there was a few of us training for different studios at the time, and we had a little boy, 12 years old, in front of us. I'm sure his name was Zach, and my to-be manager said, "Yeah, just you get the baby to smile, and this is the cable release. Press that when the baby's smiling, and that'll take the picture." I'm like, "It's a 12-month-old baby. What happens here?" "Hi, mate. I support Everton. Who do you support?" And the kid just looks back at me. I don't know whether it was because I supported Everton or whether it was, he's like, "What is this guy?" But
What's this guy on about?
I was clueless, absolutely clueless. I was, I thought I was going to sink very quickly. But, I loved watching the guys. I loved what they were doing. I was thinking, I can do this. And I pressed the shutter release, and we got some really good pictures from that shoot in the end. And then when you see those pictures come back, and you think, "Oh my God, I took that picture. It's great." Okay, all the lighting and everything was sorted out for me then. But yeah, it's a great feeling to see those pictures come back. Everybody will feel like that. You know what it's like when you get your prints back from the developers. You love them, don't you? You can't wait to see them. And I saw those pictures come back, and I think that's probably when I was like, I'm liking this. So yeah, it was, but clueless, absolutely clueless.
So you carried on for the first 10 years of your life. Like, I know you've done it for like 30 years now,
30
right?
30 years, yeah.
30 years.
Yeah.
So the first 10 years, how did it, like, did you first start taking, like, doing it for free, and you built a portfolio? How did that all come about?
I did quite a few things for free. I mean, that was all part of what I did for the company I worked for, and I wasn't able to do anything in my spare time that would sort of jeopardize them getting any work. But what I did do was I sort of started doing portfolio pictures for people. I took a year away from photography actually and went to work in a bank, and I had this portfolio that I built up, and I used to keep it in my drawer in work in the bank, and it was basically that was doing pictures for free. So if anybody had toddlers then, I'd say, "Yeah, I'll do the pictures for you," and then occasionally you'd hope that maybe they
pay you.
Well, a bottle of wine, something like that, be nice.
Yeah.
And I did sort of model portfolios for free. And then I was literally speaking to one lady one afternoon who sat next to me. And I said, "Oh, so what are you doing for the weekend?" And she said, "Oh, I'm actually going to get married." And I was like, "Really?" And long story short, I ended up doing a wedding photography the next day. And I think it was probably, I charged her £40, and I think it probably cost me £35 to get the pictures printed, and then £5 for the travel to Holywell and back. But then I had my first wedding pictures to show people, and then the next one maybe I charged £75, and then so up. But yeah, I did an awful lot of work for free to test out settings, to test out experience, and how things worked. And yeah, I suppose that's hard work if you don't enjoy your job, but when you absolutely love doing that anyway, it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, so much free work, and that's what I'd say to anybody setting out now. If you feel good that you can charge for your work straight away, then fantastic. But yeah, do just get that experience, build that portfolio up, and that's a huge huge part of building your confidence up and getting your name out there.
Yeah, amazing, Dave. I think I should just throw it in there. I know, people always have this notion about doing things for free. I think the more free things we give, the more free things we do, more things come back to us. So you give and you receive as well. So I think in business, before you like you rightly said, to build your portfolio, to have that experience as well, you need to do a lot of free things. I think you can also relate that to this apprenticeship kind of thing as well. You go to a company, you learn skills, get better at those skills. Probably take you about 4 years or whatever. But if you're good at that, you can now start, charging more and stuff like that as well.
Oh, absolutely. But I said to it's my oldest daughter actually. She went and volunteered in a share shop, I think it was, up by Thursday Clwyd in Mole, and she enjoyed doing it. She got out and did that. I said, but if I see that on your CV and you're applying for a job with me, and I can see that you've done that work for free, that tells me that you're not afraid of work. That tells me that you've got experience. That puts you one up straight away on the next person that comes to me with the same qualifications, because I've already seen that you're prepared to go out there and work. And the fact that you're prepared to go out there and work, whether it's for 2 hours, 1 hour, a week, whatever, you're prepared to work. And that's a great insight into somebody. If you are, going to take them on as an apprentice, if you're going to take them on as work experience, even if you can see that these people have done it before, then that's going to put you higher up on the pecking order, 100%. But it's certainly here anyway. And we get an awful lot of people that want to come and work, doing work experience with us. That's a fact.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. So you did that for the first 10 years. Mm-hmm. Now another 20 years. So that 20 years, Dave. 20 years. How how did you manage to just still stay in this profession and another 20 years?
Yeah, you look back and it seems like yesterday, but some of the things that we used to have to do to, just to get our shoots in the day. When we first opened, we opened with a bit of a bang because we ran a baby competition with a local paper, and that was great. That got us well known, and we did very well. So we opened with a bang. First 2 or 3 months that we were open, it was amazing. These were going to be the best of times. Everything was going to be fantastic. And then that promotion ends, and you think, okay, well, people will come back to us. They've heard of our name. But it's not that easy. So for the first 3 or 4 years, seriously, we were stood outside the studio here with a clipboard and a 10x8 portrait, stopping people, stopping people in the rain, stopping people in the snow. Sometimes, if we were lucky, stopping people in the sun as well. But we'd literally have to, from 9 till 5, stop everybody coming past with pushchairs and try and persuade them to come and have their photos done. And if we got 3 people a day, we were happy. That's 8 hours on our feet, well, maybe 7 hours and lunch, but on our feet, stopping people. And we did that for 4 or 5 years, definitely. And eventually, the name gets a little bit well known. Eventually, we managed to persuade one of the ladies who used to work for me as a promoter, Jean. She came and helped us out there. But yeah, we started literally grabbing people off the street.
Boy, in terms of grabbing people from the street and trying to just sell your product and make a bit of money as well, did you have other ideas of, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to still carrying on, building this brand and trying to get people to know this brand? What was there a time where you said, I'm going to give up on this dream? Was there a time like that?
No, there was never a time where we were going to give up. There were some very, very hard times, when you think, how are we going to sustain this? How are we going to just literally stay outside and promote to the same people, I suppose, coming up the street day in, day out. And eventually, you find other ways of bringing people in. I think it's a lot easier now with social media, and but we're talking when the internet was in its very early stages when we started here. So you couldn't just set up a Facebook page, or you couldn't just sort of you couldn't use social media for advertising back then. So it was literally word of mouth, or we used papers to do it. But yeah, we'd put an ad in the paper, and we'd get people back from that. But it was hard first going. But no, never did I think, no, that's it. That's it. You would literally drag yourself out, and you'd make sure you got enough people to pay your bills.
I guess the story is if you have a dream and you believe in your dream, you know, because no one is going to believe in that dream. You're going to believe in your dream. I guess you definitely stick to that dream, won't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I couldn't imagine putting that effort in for something that I didn't love doing. But we absolutely love. I mean, that's the thing. I think anybody who comes into this studio, I don't think we can hide how much we enjoy doing our job, and I couldn't have done it for something else. You know, I couldn't have done it if I was selling something completely different. If I was selling pens or if I was selling jewelry or something like that, I wouldn't have the passion to do it. But I was, you know, we'd have the children come in here, the babies, and listen to those babies laughing back at you when you're making them smile, and the toddlers coming round, and the way you'd win them round, and the parents, you know, they'd be outside. They said, "Oh, there's no way you're going to win him round. He's terrible. He's been in a right cranky mood all day. No way." "Oh, just give us a go." And they'd come in, and then they'd see this transformation, and wow. Yeah, I guess it's like a drug. You know, when you see that. It's the best kind of drug. It's a really happy feeling that you get from this job, and there's no way you would want to give up on that.
Wow, Dave, love that, man. I can see you're enjoying your journey, your story. You know, enjoying every bit of it. You know, but is there any part of the job that you don't like? Like, is there a part of the job you wished, you know, I don't want to do this part. You know, like for one, I can say, okay, you take the pictures. Yeah. It's not just taking the pictures, you know. It's not just taking the pictures. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes after taking the picture. So, is that part of the job you would love to delegate, or you don't love doing, or is that?
I think really there's not many parts of the job that you don't enjoy, but you can find that it becomes overwhelming if you've got too many things to do. You know, if you're a staff member down. We're quite short on staff, you know, here, and you can literally have so much work to do that, you know, that's the only thing that can be too much. But you know, at the moment, we last few years, I think we're managing it. We're managing it well. We're managing to delegate. We've got enough people to deal with. Obviously, you have days where. You just think, no, okay, I'm ready for home today. You know, you might have had a couple of kids that just, they will not do what you want. And you still don't mind, you still enjoy doing the shoots, but you come out of those shoots and yeah, okay, I need rejuvenating. But I'd never say there's a part of the job that I didn't enjoy. It's just if you've got to the stage where you have to do too much, you know, if you've got too much to do and you know you've got to get that done that day or the next day, but it's very rare that happens. It's all parts of the job. You know, we have pretty much a choice over what we can do, so it's pretty good. I love selling the pictures. I love taking the pictures.
Great. Building a brand like this, you know, as a photographer, you know, I know the work that goes into it. You know, it could be very, very hard. You know, but. In saying that, you know, what are the difficulties? You know, what are the challenges that comes with photography as a business? You know, for someone that's listening and said, you know, I want to go into photography. You know, I've listened to Dave, and Dave said this, Dave said that. You know, what would you say are the difficulties and challenges as well? You know, and how can you get around those challenges if there are any?
Okay, well, I mean, when we started here 20 years ago, I think we had Debenhams, where I used to work, as competition, but not a lot else really. But there's a lot of photographers around now who want to do, you know, what we're doing, because it is an enjoyable job. There's so many more photographers than there were, you know, back in 2000 when we opened here. So competition is a big thing. Of course, people have got much better ways of taking photos themselves than they used to have. They've got the phones now that they can take photos. So I think what we've always done here is, yeah, we focus on, obviously we want to take the pictures right, we want the studio to be right, we want to be able to produce high quality pictures for everybody, but we want to make it into something that's a little bit different to everywhere else as well. And I'd personally like to think that when people come here, they get an experience from us. You know, they have fun with us. It's sure, they want to take lovely pictures away from us and give them out as presents or put them on the walls, but it'd be nice if those pictures can mean something and they can remember the whole experience they had here. And I think that's what we try and do. We try and make sure that when people come here, they have a really, really good time. They feel welcome. They enjoy it. They're not tense about how their children are going to be. They obviously are when they come through the door, but you know, they can sit back and enjoy the whole thing. And I think that's where we've always tried to be a little bit different. Try and put our personality into the shoot as much as anything. So the technical part is important, but I like to think when people think of us, you know, they have a little laugh about, you know, when they're looking at the pictures, they have a little laugh about how those pictures were achieved and some of the stupid things that we were doing and ridiculous things that we might have been doing. And that is, I think, where maybe our angle or our edge is in you know, with the competition. We will go to ridiculous lengths to win children around, you know, if they're upset. And I think we always have, and I'd like to think we always will.
Good. And you know, going back to the competition part of it now, you know, having your competitors, every competitors trying to, you know, go for the same thing you're doing as well. You know, apart from winning the babies and trying to, you know, be nice to the babies as well, you know, what other things, you know, have you put in place, you know, to stay ahead of the game? Okay. Of the other guys, from the other guys, so to say. Okay.
Well, we certainly have you know, a very active social media presence. We try and engage as much as we can with certainly our Facebook following. It's not advert. We like to put some fun out there as well. We like to share like what we're doing in the studio, and I think people like to feel part of what we are here. I'd like, we are an extended family. It sounds corny, I know, but I feel we are. We've got customers out there that a lot of customers, you know, that I would consider friends, and we try and communicate that through a lot of our social media. So I think that's a very big part of it, letting people believe that they are, you know, when we come up in their Facebook feed, that, you know, that there's a bit of that, you know, bit of it for them as well, you know, that it's personal. And I think that's what we focus on more than anything. We go with the trends, you know, in the photography to some degree, but I think it's creating that approachability, the family side of thing. You know, we like to think that people, if they think of photos, they'll think of, well, like, we go to Dave, or we go to Suzanne, or we go to Dave Williams Photography, or, you know, that kind of thing. Really, that's where I think we concentrate on, you know, sort of letting customers come in year after year. I mean, we've got people who did come to me for pictures in my first year at Debenhams in 1990, who were bringing their kids back now.
Wow. Does that make you feel old?
It makes me feel old. It does make me feel old, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. But it's so rewarding when you see. I mean, I've done weddings for people that I photographed at 6 months old, and I think that's it. That's everything for me. I think is making people feel that they're going to be welcome. They're going to have a great experience, and that, you know, we do care that they want to come. They come back, and I'd like to think, you know, we look after them when they come back as well. You know, there's an incentive to come back, because you're going to feel, you know, that you're part of Dave Williams Photography in a way. Yeah,
and apart from, you know, being part of Dave Williams Photography, you know, you're telling a story as well. You know, like you're telling a story with their lives, you know, stage from get married to babies, you know, it's a good story as well.
Yeah, and that's brilliant. You know, there's there's a story for everything. But you know, I can remember photographing a couple's wedding. I'm not going to mention their names, but we were at the Grosvenor Pulford, and they wanted some photos taken in the suite where they were, because a member of the royal family had stayed in that suite beforehand. So this is 10:15 in the evening, just before I'm leaving. So we take the picture, nice picture, and we go back downstairs, and I say goodbye. And then they have the wedding pictures and everything, and I'm in the supermarket, and 9 or 10 months later, and there's a baby in there, and introducing the couple to my wife. Said, "Oh, this is my wife."
Wow.
And like, yeah. This is our baby. Created 15 minutes after you left the room, Dave.
Oh my! So that's the effects of day photography right there.
There you go. But you know that, I mean, the kids are all, you know, there's more than one child there now, but the stories there, and it's those kind of stories. There's one from every wedding that you do. There's people who that we've done engagement shoots for. Then they've had the wedding, then they bring the kids in, and you know, it's just lovely. It's being part of everybody's life, and it's a huge thing, and yeah, that's the biggest reward, most rewarding part of the job. But I think it's what we're good at. We remember these things and remember these experiences that we've had with people, and they're I think the good thing is they're important as important to us as they may be to the people that are coming to us. You know, we look back on them with every bit as much affection as they do. You know.
Well, great, Dave. Love that, man. Amazing story. You know, you've just mentioned something about telling stories and keeping these stories alive as well. You know, and do you ever think about it's going to come one day where you said I'm hanging up the cameras now and and I'm gonna leave this are the kids looking to pick this from you where all because you
no chance. Having said that, my youngest daughter I've managed to persuade to come and do some photography in the studio. So
okay,
maybe
great.
my eldest has flown off to university and she's got absolutely no interest in it. In being this side of it anyway. I mean, she loves taking her own pictures, but no, we'll see with Evie. She's very of the two of them. She's got a very artistic side. She loves a drawing. She likes making her videos and things. So we'll see. Maybe. But
yeah, hopefully.
if you ask her, no chance.
Now, Dave, I know things are moving pretty fast. Innovation is kicking in. And there are a lot of new gadgets out there. In terms of photography as well. There are new camera phones and phones that can take pictures like wow. Did you ever feel trenches at some point? When you start seeing these things popping up, because now you can basically just take a picture, take it to Boots or whatever, print the picture, and that's it. How did that get down with you?
Yeah, I must admit, when phones started getting better and better, and people could take their pictures, it was a worry, and I guess it's still some kind of worry at the back of your mind. But I think it goes back to what I was saying before about the whole experience that people get here. I think there's always going to be a market for the experience of coming to a photographer's and getting your photos done. People can manipulate pictures to look amazing pictures. I've seen my own kids do it. Obviously, we can manipulate pictures on Photoshop.
Yeah, with filters and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. And we embrace parts of that as well. We use some of the filters here now and again for what we do, and we've recently started doing some of the digital backgrounds for the newborn babies, which is a bit new for us. We're just trying it out a little bit, but before, when we opened the studio here, there was no such thing as digital. Well, there was, but we weren't using digital photography, so we had no Photoshop. So if you wanted your picture in black and white, we had to pretty much take the picture with black and white film. We couldn't do it afterwards. So yeah, it's I guess it's a concern, but I think when you consider how long people have been able to take those pictures themselves, and I would say we're as a business is in the strongest place that we've ever been. So I guess maybe we could perhaps say that it's raised people's awareness of the importance of photography, but it hasn't really had an effect on us. So fingers crossed that stays the way.
Yeah, Dave, good man, nice one. I love that, man. Well, now this now brings me to the next question, which is social media. And I know you've mentioned something about Facebook, putting pictures on Facebook. You're big on that and stuff like that. But in terms of using social media, as a tool, How have you used that to help your business, to grow your business as well, and to, grow your audience as well?
Well, certainly as a company, we've managed to expand. We always considered ourselves sort of Chester and North Wales being our base, but as some of you may be able to, some of you might know, we can target people wherever we want in the area now. And we, by pure accident, we ran a promotion with Groupon once, and they accidentally marketed it to Liverpool. A Christmas promotion that we did, and it was one of the most successful promotions we ever did.
Wow!
We were like, people come.
So you have people come from Liverpool to Chester.
Liverpool. Oh, yeah, and we were amazed. We had, I would say, probably 2 out of 3 people that we had that Christmas who came to us came from Liverpool. They really liked the promotion that we were doing, so we were like, okay. So we no longer consider ourselves Chester and North Wales alone. We
the whole Northwest now.
No, that's it. We target people. We target people out on the Wirral, but certainly we have regular customers coming in from Runcorn, Warrington, certainly Liverpool, all over the Wirral, and going the other way, sort of Anglesey and the North Wales coast as well. So Facebook and social media has probably helped with that. But as soon as you get a few people in those areas and they start sharing the pictures, other people. I'm always surprised by how far people are prepared to travel to have pictures done. We have one couple that to this day they'll come down from Yorkshire, literally to have their little one's pictures done with us because they used to live down here. So it's, I guess, if you like what you're getting, it's nice.
Oh, Dave, good man. I see you're busy. Your hands are full doing a lot of stuff. But in terms of trying to get that inspiration and trying to be inspired as well, and trying to be creative, what brings out the creativity in you? Because it seems you're busy, but what brings that side of you?
I think it's not so much, I don't know, it's the creativity. I think once I come to work, it's a happy place, and all my creativity and all everything that I do with work comes from, I guess, being in the right place, and that right place is being happy. And so you can be in whatever mood you've left the house in. For me, I get a 20-minute, 25-minute drive to work in the morning, and if I'm not in a great mood, I'll sing my heart out to the CD player or whatever. And by the time I get here, I've got to be in the right place. And as soon as you get your first model through the door, that's your inspiration, really. That's where your creativity comes out. You greet people with a smiling face, and if you get a smiling face back, or even something like that, and that's where you go off from. That's what I feed off. I feed off people's reactions. The whole thing about what we do here is built around a positive, a fun, positive experience, and the more you get that back, the more you feel it, the more it energizes you, and the more creative you get. So that's where I do. If a happy, fun environment, and then I'm more likely to try something more creative. And because I think that's when you've built up the trust more with people, you're probably going to try something a little bit more different. If you feel that you've got to play it safe, then you'll just do a safe professional job. But you can tell with some people that you're gonna have one of those shoes that's going to be fun, and that's more often than not. And that's where I get my creativity from. Yeah,
Dave, great man, good. I love that. Done this for years now, a number of years now, and someone comes to meet you and say, Dave, I love what you do. I want to be a photographer as well. What would you say to that person? Because you've done this for 30 years, but I know you've been through some hard times as well, but and this is a young guy or a young girl, that wants to go into photography, and and wants that advice, and what would that one thing that you want to say to them?
You stay focused on what you want to do. Definitely, just be a pest, nag everybody to take pictures of them. If you've got, I suppose it depends what kind of photography you want to do, but if you want to do something like what we do here, which is pretty much everything, then if you know where there's a baby, take photos of that baby and do it for free. You know, do it for free. Take photos of all your friends. Take photos of everybody. Try everything out on your camera. Try all the different settings. For every picture that you take, make sure you take 10 or 12 exposures of it. And then if you get 100 pictures from a shoot and you've got 7 that you like, that's success, because you've got 7 pictures. You know, you've got 7 pictures that you like. You've got something to work with. Just like I say, be a pest. Just photograph everybody. Get some work together. Get editing those pictures. Get playing around with those pictures on Photoshop, or you know, some sort of editing, whichever your favorite editing tool is. But get a collection of pictures together. Get an album together, get a digital presence together, set up a Facebook page, set up an Instagram page, put your work out there, let people see it. Don't worry about getting money for it straight away. Nag people like me, but don't nag me at the moment because we're overwhelmed. Nag people like me to come and work for them for free, and you know, don't expect anything in return apart from experience and the experience of seeing what you know. I say don't expect anything in return. What you'll get in return is invaluable experience, and you'll see how hard it is to actually run a studio, but you'll also see how enjoyable it is to run a studio as well, and you'll realize how important the people skill side of things are as well, you know, and that can't be under appreciated. You know, the more you get experience photographing people, you'll develop those people skills. You'll develop putting people at ease the other side of the camera, and you'll get some great pictures. You'll get some bad pictures as well, but don't worry about the bad pictures. Just concentrate on the good pictures. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. You know, I think people underestimate. You know, they underestimate the power of working for free. You know, working for free is so powerful because it gives you the back end. It gives you everything you know you need to know. You know, but what would you say to someone that's I don't want to work for free? Why would I want to get paid? You know, some people might think, you know, I'm trading time here. You know, and I don't want to trade that for free. You know, what would you say? I'd say go and speak to our editor because she worked for free for me, and she doesn't work for free anymore. She gets paid you know, her rate for editing our pictures, and because she started for free. So yeah, and she came to us and worked for free for a month, and then she moved back to where she lives in Dudley, and then fair play to her, we only had a Saturday job available. She managed to get free transport from Dudley to Chester on a Saturday. She'd come and do a Saturday and work for us for that. I can't believe she did anything other than break even on that journey. But she got experience, and then she started doing a little bit of wedding photography. We'd pass weddings that we couldn't do on to her, and she built that up, and then she's built up a wedding. You know, she had us as a contact, and then we approached her because we needed somebody to edit our pictures, and of course we can send everything through the internet now, can't we? So she doesn't even have to come into Chester. She works from Dudley for us and edits all of our pictures and gets paid nicely for it as well. So had she not have worked for free, I wouldn't have had her to call on, and I'd have gone looking for somebody else. So that's it. I mean, I've lost track of the amount of people that we've taken on from work experience or the like, and that is the way to go. Because if I know somebody can work, you know, in the environment, and they've done that for free for 3 or 4 weeks, then they get first refusal. That's how it works. So that's what I would say to them. So guys, hear this. You know, you need to work for free to get the experience. You know, Dave, it's been a good interview so far. You know, love every bit of the answers. You know, and the way it's going, you know. But what would be your last, you know, take on this for people out there, you know, that want to looking at, maybe it could be word of encouragement for them, you know, careers as well. You know, you've been through it yourself, you know, 30 years in the game now. That's not a joke. You know, what would be that one thing to tell them in a way to motivate and inspire them as well? just don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. I mean, I think if you saw the job that we did here and the enjoyment that we have doing our job here, I mean, I literally, not lying, I love coming to work every day. I love what we do here. Yeah, we have better days than others sometimes, but I come to work knowing that I'm going to be, you know, smiling. I'm going to have a fun time. Picture that in your mind, not necessarily picture yourself doing what we're doing here, but whatever you want to do, picture that. Picture the end product and where you want to be. And then when you're standing on the streets with a clipboard asking people to bring their babies in out of the rain to have pictures done for 7 or 8 hours a day, tell yourself, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be to the place where I'm going to do that job, and I'm going to get paid well for that job, and I'm going to love that job. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that job. Do the hard work, do the dirty stuff, sweep the floor, do all the messy jobs, because you'll still be doing those probably when you're your own boss. If you're your own boss, you'll still do that. We still sweep the floor, we still hoover up, we still have to clean up after cake smashes. But, you know, that's fine, because we get to do the cake smashes. And just do the dirty work, do the hard work, because none of this work, you know, you still probably have to do the dirty work when you've got it, but it's far more sweeter when you've got the great parts of the job to do as well.
Yeah, Dave, man, I love that, man. Well, people tend to still think, oh, I'm the boss now, I don't need to do anything. But you don't know that when you're the boss, you actually do more work, you know.
That's absolutely right. And when it takes me back to the time where I was a trainer actually for my last company, and they think, oh, you know, Dave's got a company car, Dave drives around from studio to studio, that's a nice glamorous job. When I go out, I'm then training the people who are doing the canvassing. So you're in glamorous places like the Arndale Centre in Stretford, which, trust me, isn't the most glamorous place that you're going to canvass, but people there, absolutely marvellous people. But it's not where you're picturing yourself doing the photography. But you go out there, and my job was to literally show the canvassers how it was done. So I have to then, I'm Dave Area trainer, you know, I don't do this. You can't have that attitude. I had to go and show the canvassers how they would need to do their job. So you have to know how to do that in order to do it. So the only way to do it is leading by example. And if you haven't done that, and if you've gone in at the top end, how are you going to show somebody to do that? You know, I think that's where it always worked for me. I was always able to say to people, well, I've done that. I started as a canvasser. When I did my photography in the in-store, my boss was very clever. She used to make me say, right, well, there's 3 of us here to take all the shoots. The shoots that you're going to have to do, Dave, you're going to have to go around the store and get. So I had to go pull people from the shoe department to come and have their pictures taken and stuff. But, you know, I made that work for myself. I got chatting with the people on the other departments. I'd got myself a lot of friends in the store that way. And then they help you out a little bit, and they say, oh, Dave's doing pictures. And so sometimes you don't even have to approach them, because they'll approach you. And but you have to get down and do these things. And that's the only way you learn. And that's the only way you can teach people, I think, properly, genuinely, you know, with that, is if you've done it yourself. And then they've got no comeback to you. Then you say, look, this is what I've done. I'll do it. I'll show you how to do it. Now you do it. And that's it. You've got to do that. But you will end up doing these things. I think a good boss still does all the dirty stuff.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
I still make the teas.
Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely, absolutely. You would have fought me when I came here anyway. So I know that. I know that for sure. You know, you do that. You know, but having said that, Dave, you know, what has been the best advice you've gotten so far? You know, your career, 13 years. You know, still counting. You know, what has been the best advice you've gotten so far?
Best advice I've had so far. I think it is just enjoy the job, and enjoy it, because if you're going to spend so much of your life doing, you know, the job, that if you don't enjoy it, what's the point of doing it? I mean, okay, money, but money's not everything. You can do, you know, most things for money, can't you? Get a job, if you can possibly get a job that you enjoy. That is everything. And work out to yourself. I think, yeah, probably the best advice is work out to yourself the balance of how much money you want to earn from that job and how much happiness you want to get from that job. And for me, the happiness is way up there as compared to, I mean, obviously it's nice to have the money as well, but for me, I would say happiness is be happy in your job is probably the most important advice that I would give somebody if, you know, starting out. Don't do something for the money alone, because, you know, you want to, I want to wake up in the morning. I want to be a happy person, you know.
Absolutely.
But
but you throughout your career, you know, as far the best advice you has also gotten as well.
Best advice I've gotten. I guess to sometimes. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Admit when you're wrong. Admit when you're wrong. Don't try and cover things up. And I think this is something that we do quite well here. Is if we've cocked up, and everywhere cocks up. If we cock up, we don't blame other people. We take it on the chin, and I think that's probably the best tool that you've got in dealing with people and for earning people's respect, I would say as well. So yeah, I think probably over the years, I've made some ridiculous mistakes and doing things, but I keep going back to a lady I had. She's been in recently for pictures here now, actually, but I'm going back 25, 30 years, and everything I did for her, it didn't matter how hard I tried, it went wrong. But I kept admitting I was wrong. I kept saying what had happened, and I put it right. You know, that again is that you've got to put it right. You know, your customers, it's true. The customers are always right. But I will go out of my way to try and make sure that everything is put right for everybody. And if we do make a mistake, and yeah, just being honest with people, don't fob them off. If you've made a mistake, be honest, and I think we do that pretty well, and I think people respect that, because where have you got to go with an argument if you've admitted that you've done it in the first place? It's like, well,
yeah, you just squash it, man.
That's it. You know, you've admitted, okay, look, I'm sorry, I've cocked up, but this is what I'm going to do to put it right. So yeah, admit you're wrong and make sure you put it right. Yeah,
absolutely, Dave, man. Good, 100. You know, but you know, there's a last question. You know, people always shy away from this question. You know, because you know we don't think about that. You know, we get jobs, we run businesses, we build brands. You know, do all sorts, family as well. You know, but when it comes to the end of time, Dave, you know, like end of days, you know, and you know, is the end now. You know, what would you want to be remembered for?
Remembered for?
Yeah.
Oh, so much stuff. But I would just like people to look on the wall, see the pictures, and think we had a great time. We had a really good time. Yeah, they're great pictures, but I would want people to remember the time that they had here and some of the experiences they've had, whether it be in the studio here, whether it be at weddings that we've done, at events that we've done. Just fun. I want people to just think back and think, yeah, that was a fun time. You know, to be a fun memory, that was the time we went there. Oh, do you remember that? That was we had such a good time. We're doing that, and you were such a narc when you were coming through the door. But oh yeah, we're doing that. Yeah, just that kind of thing. Just happiness. That's what I want to be remembered for. I want people to look at to hear our name and just think that's a positive, happy place to be. You know, and we've got good memories of that. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, good.
I'm not even. I mean, yeah, great. We'd love them to look at really nice pictures and have great memories from them, but that more than anything.
Good, Dave, man. Love that. Good. I like that. You know, touching. So, Dave, if guys want to get in touch with you, you know, they want to reach out to you, where is the best place, you know, for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I would say our Facebook page, Dave Williams Photography Chester. That's the best place. Message us there. Comment on any of the pictures there that you see. But yeah, do that, or you can email me, davewilliamsphotography@hotmail.com. We always try. Yeah, we'll respond to any email, regardless. And if you've got any questions, anything that you want to know, definitely. That's probably the best way to get in touch.
Yeah, Dave, I must say it's been a good conversation so far. You know, you've done well for yourself as well. You know, seeing that you loved your journey, you loving the journey, loving the process as well. You know, and you're doing an amazing job, you know, in this community of Chester, you know, out of Chester as well. You're doing a great job, fantastic job. People know you now, you know, all the way to Liverpool, probably London as well. You know, you're doing a fantastic job, Dave. You know, and I love that. And for me as well, I can say that because we've got nice memories of you as well. You know, your pictures as well. You know, family pictures and all. You know, which is great. You know, so Dave, it's been nice. You know, talking to you. You know, thanks for the time, and I'm grateful as well.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.